Storm for the upper Midwest likely to bring travel to a standstill.
Yeah, it's also going to unleash damaging ice across multiple states. So really concerned about not just road travel, but power outages in those areas. So we're going to break it all down for you. Welcome into Weather Underground on this Tuesday. I'm Alex Wilson here with Mike Bettis.
All right, so we got a lot of things going on for us, no doubt about that. Otherworldly conditions.
Yeah, a lot of the northern tier getting a big dose of snow, courtesy of Winter Storm Olive. So the alerts, they have been, transitioning over. So we're losing those watches. Now we've got winter storm warnings for Minneapolis. We've got blizzard warnings across central and western Minnesota, northwest Iowa, and eastern parts of South Dakota. Winter storm watch is in effect farther to the east. Those will be upgraded, though, as we get closer to game time. So Detroit, Grand Rapids, Green Bay, you'll be upgraded to likely winter storm warnings, perhaps even some ice storm warnings, I think, likely to come into parts of lower Michigan. Here's a look at the radar right now. We've got snow overspreading portions of Minnesota, South Dakota. This is not the big show, though. That really comes into tomorrow as wind and heavy snow will be, a 1-2 punch across the area. It's cold right now. It's at 10 in Aberdeen. It's 6 in Bismarck. It's 13 in Sioux Falls. So you're already feeling the chill. Then we add the wind, and it is going to be brutal outside. So I want to think about the livestock. If you've got animals outside, make sure they've got a place to go. And obviously, you're not going to be spending any time. That's another reason why we say stay off the roads, because God forbid you get stranded. You're not going to be able to get out of your car and walk around. It is going to be nearly impossible, if not impossible, to see. Here's a look at our hourly forecast. So again, today we've got snow through parts of South Dakota into Minnesota and Wisconsin. But look what's waiting in the wings. By Wednesday morning, we see some of that deeper, dark shade of blue. Very rarely do we see this on our maps, right? That is the heaviest of snow that begins to spread eastward tomorrow. Also intertwined with a very tight pressure gradient. So not just heavy snow, but gusty winds. That means winds gusting over 25 miles an hour at times will lead to blizzard conditions. And again, near nothing, if not zero visibility is likely. Here's a look at our wind gust forecast. As they go up today, it's really tomorrow, though, that we see some of the strongest of winds. Aberdeen, Sioux Falls gusting to 50 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. By the evening, Minneapolis, you're gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour. Green Bay also gusty, and we'll see those winds also pick up for places like Chicago and Detroit moving into the later part of Thursday. So even though those areas aren't looking at the big snow potential, they will still feel the gusty winds, and that combined with ice will cause its own problems. 18 to 24-inch totals still to come across sections of southern Minnesota, but Mike, a huge stretch from South Dakota all the way towards Lake Michigan, where we expect a foot to a foot and a half.
Yeah, this is
into parts of even the Dakotas here in the aftermath of this event. But when we look at what this storm is actually going to bring, again, this is going to be a big hitter across this part of the country. We've got blizzard warnings edging close to Minneapolis. Minneapolis, you are under a winter storm warning farther to the east. We've got our winter storm watches. Those will transition over to warnings, whether they're winter storm warnings or ice storm warnings. I think here across, say, the stretch between Grand Rapids and Detroit, I think we could see some ice storm warnings come in. Also sections of northern Illinois, northern Indiana, watching for some issues there. Right now, we've got the snow edging into parts of the Dakotas, into Minnesota. But keep in mind, this isn't the worst of the weather. So the snow falling out there today is going to ease us into this event. Tomorrow, that's when things really go downhill. And I think travel is going to be impossible across the region. So again, right now, generally light to moderate snow. You can see that translate on the future radar through this afternoon. So watching for more of that light to moderate snow. Winds picking up about 20 to 30 miles an hour. But tomorrow, we up the ante with the snowfall intensity and with the wind speed. Gusts up to 50 miles an hour possible. Snow coming down at a really heavy rate, inches per hour. And so all of that blowing around, we're going to easily reach blizzard criteria in some of these areas from South Dakota into Minnesota. We keep the gusty winds. We keep the heavy snow going into Thursday morning. And again, we see that ice across sections of northern Illinois, sections of southern Michigan. Those are spots that we'll see very dangerous road conditions, likely power outages, and perhaps some more significant tree damage as well. When we look at the snowfall still to come, 18 to 24 inches across sections of southern sections of Minnesota, but a huge stretch of 12 to 18 inches. And again, even areas farther to the south where we see the wintry mix or the plain old rain, Mike, it's going to be very windy as well. Farther to the south, severe weather.
The thing about it is the temperatures